Today we're talking about Greg Lauren. I have done a couple of videos about Greg in the past, so I will spare you the details. But I have acquired a couple of pretty awesome pieces, some of my personal grails. I am still on the hunt for a couple of more grails. Of course, the hunt never stops, as you know. But yeah, pretty excited to share those with you. I have bought those over the past months and I've spared them for one video because I thought kind of makes more sense to put more pieces into one. It's more entertainment for you and it's more variety, etc. So I would say let's get started. So the first piece is pretty awesome. It is from the collaboration between Greg Lauren and Moncler, which is one of my favorite collabs. Not the biggest fan of Moncler, to be honest, but I've always liked puffer jackets and like this nylon material, and the nylon material from Moncler is top notch, but not the biggest fan of the big logos and all that kind of stuff. So that collab was pretty amazing. Some pretty wild pieces, but also some more understated, not necessarily understated, but more understated than the wild ones. And when the collection dropped, I personally owned two pieces, basically the same item, which was the hoodie with partially Moncler down fabric, and then the rest was like distressed by Greg, etc. I owned this in two colors, the black one, all black, where both pieces were black, and then this sort of tan, greenish with brown version, which was my favorite. I don't know why I sold those, to be honest. This is one of the things I regret. And ever since I've sold them, well, maybe a year later, then I started searching for that piece again. So I finally found one, and I found an even better version than the one I had. How's it possible, you might ask? Because it is a sample, which is pretty dope. Let me quickly grab it. So this is a sample from that collab, basically. And what's cool about this one is it doesn't have that Moncler logo over on the sleeve, which I love because I've never been a big fan of that. So pretty happy with that. And that is my favorite color. Like, you might think black might be my favorite. That's what I thought when I bought both. But I don't know, I just fell in love with this combo. So you have this sort of like washed green tan color. It's pretty difficult to put into words. And then you have this brown. The light is super strange in here. I have to change that. So you have this brown puffer material basically, and then a small detail here at the bottom, which is tent material. And yes, otherwise it is heavily distressed, tastefully distressed, right? I've said this a couple of times. Greg is one of the few people who can tastefully distress, in my opinion. This might look like a lot, but I think when worn, it's pretty cool. Has a double layered hood with waffle material on the inside. And yeah, so many details. So on the sleeve, for example, you have a zipper that you can then open up. And then you have the same waffle material on the inside as well. Then here on the side, you also have a zipper, super heavy duty zipper. And then again with the material here on the inside. And what is pretty dope about this is where the kangaroo pocket is. And it has basically that down fabric on both sides, right? So when you put your hands in, your hands are fully covered in down, which is super warm, which is super awesome. So yeah, pretty happy with this one. Prefer this over the regular release. Sample, no logo, but exactly the same fabric. Now I know Greg has released a couple of those pieces not from the collaboration with Moncler, so with his own fabric. But you can tell that this is from Moncler because of the material. Like as I said, I had this before, so it's super soft, and the one that Greg uses for his own pieces is a bit more, I don't know what, it feels different, more hard, if that makes any sense. So yeah, pretty happy with this one. And funny story, I actually got this from the son of Pierce Brosnan, which is kind of random, but still super cool. So apparently he's friends with Greg, and Greg gifted this to him. So as you do, he sold it, and I picked it up from him. Came from Santa Monica, took a while to get here, had to pay mad customs, of course. But I think it was worth it because that is such an iconic piece, and it is the perfect hoodie when you just go to the cinema or watch a movie or whatever, like just chilling. This is such a cozy and awesome hoodie, in my opinion. Oh, this one is so cozy. Also, the hoods are super well done by Greg, in my opinion, because they're double layered and you feel so protected, etc. But yeah, here you have a look at the distressing, which obviously comes out more when wearing a contrast shirt underneath. And then here you have one line going down, the down material, super long sleeves, zipper detailing. And the most comfortable thing is here in the pockets. It's so warm, it's instantly warm and it's soft and oh yeah, such a lovely piece. Long drawstrings, typical for Greg. And has those details here that all Greg hoodies have. At least the older ones, I'm not sure about the newer ones. But yeah, now next up, this is one of my all-time Greg GRAILS. So the name on this is 50/50 Studio Tux Shirt, Ivory Linen Ribbed Cotton. So it is basically a mix of a tuxedo shirt with sort of a long sleeve, but the execution on this is amazing. I mean, the idea is amazing. I think when you have like a regular dress shirt, like what can be done with a dress shirt. So obviously you have some Carol iterations of the dress shirt. I love the dead end, for example. This is a completely new take on a dress shirt. So it has this like ribbon kind of thing, as you have like in these old tuxedo shirts. But then it is cut off, right, the dress shirt material. And then you have a ripped long sleeve basically underneath, which is just insane. And the same for the sleeves. So you have raw hem sleeves, but then you have this ripped cotton fabric coming out. So from far away, it's just a white shirt, but when you get closer, it's super confusing and you don't really know what's going on. And it is quite thick as well, which is good because it's a double layer, of course. So I think now is definitely coming the time, sort of like March, April probably, to wear this. So super excited that I finally picked this up. I have been on the hunt for this for maybe 2 years. Then I picked it up on GRAILS, had to pay retail price even though it was used, but it is a 1 of 50, right? It says it on the tag, 1 of 50. I think that was exclusive for a Dover Street Market, so a pretty rare piece. And it is old as well, I think it was 2015 or something. So an iconic piece from Greg and definitely one of my all-time GRAILS. So yeah, let me quickly throw this on for you. So yeah, first I want to say obviously you have to wear a white shirt underneath. It looks kind of weird, but I was too lazy to change, so sorry about that. Yeah, the only downside I would say is that there are no buttons here, right? So it is, my belly button is here, so it's kind of, you have to wear a shirt underneath. But yeah, I think just a white tank top or regular shirt is good. And yeah, this is what it looks like when worn. Again, probably from far away, not too in your face, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's definitely a very creative and detailed piece. You have here the ribbon and the double layer fabric here coming out. So you basically have the shirt fabric as well as the ribbed cotton here. And here the shirt basically stops. And the ribbed cotton is pretty thin. So yeah, size 3 fits me well as intended. Probably even better with the blazer on top. But yeah, definitely a white shirt. Sorry about that. Could be a bit longer maybe, but I think the sleeves are pretty long already. Yes, my GRAILS shirt. Hope you love it as much as I do. So next up, another crazy idea. Let me just first read you the name. Black Workwear Tux Ollie. So this is basically a tuxedo made out of workwear material, which is like this jeans cotton kind of mix. And this is an incredible piece. So first you have peak lapels, which as you probably know, I love. And first I thought, okay, jeans, not sure, but this really feels like, this like heavy Carhartt cotton. So it's not jeans, but it kind of looks like it because of the contrast stitching that you have, which is in golden, which is a weird choice. But it fits with the main highlight, which is the zipper on the back here that you can obviously zip up, zip open. And yeah, pretty incredible piece, many details, right? You have sort of a pants reconstructed into a tux blazer. Yeah, pretty dope, pretty dope. The lapels are a different material. They feel sort of like a softer cotton, I would say. And yeah, in total, it is an incredible piece. It fits a bit slim. It's a size 2, right? Again, one of those things where I think someday I'll fit in a size 2 and then, yeah, I can wear it. But I'll wear it in a second so you can judge. This is a newer piece. I'm not sure when it was released. If you know, let me know down in the comments. When I look at the tag, it is newer, which is unfortunate. I prefer the older stuff, right? So 2018 and before. But again, this was, I don't know, a pretty good deal online. And I loved the detail, especially with the zipper and the idea of doing a tux in a contrast material, if that makes sense, right? Workwear and tux are pretty far away in my opinion. So that combination is pretty dope, pretty creative. That's piece number 3. Let me quickly wear it for you. So the workwear tux, such a good piece. Bit tight, but I think I can pull it off, to be honest. I just go outside, don't move, just like stand around like this, walk. If someone wants to shake my hand, I go like this. Yeah, I really want to keep this, and I will. Because from far away, it's just like a regular, it doesn't even look like a blazer, right? It's more like a jacket. But when you come close, you understand. Yeah, amazing idea. 10 out of 10 for creativity. Also 10 out of 10 for execution. So here you have the detail with the zipper. You can obviously zip open if you need to. Hopefully this comes across on camera. The light is still super weird. I'm still making tweaks in the studio. Sorry for the inconvenience of the light, etc. It will improve over time, I promise. Now, next blazer. I'm pretty heavy on the blazers, to be honest. There's a few more coming. So it's only tops. If you're looking for pants, I'm sorry. But yeah, the next one is Army Liner Ollie. So Ollie is basically that model with a peak lapel from Greg. And it is made out of sort of like tent material. Not sure if he still uses tent on the newer stuff, right? The old Greg Lauren pieces were old military tents and blankets and that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure if he still uses it. It feels a bit more new, if that makes any sense. So it's probably just a fabric in that color, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I love the peak lapel. I'm a sucker for a good peak lapel, and this one is crazy good. And has small distressing details, but not too much. Has those lovely metal buttons. As you can see, the tag is still on there because again, this is a size 2 and this fits a bit tight. So I'm not sure if I can keep it. Sometimes size 2, like in general, Greg is pretty inconsistent with sizing. With newer stuff, it has become more consistent. I'll show you an example in a second. But yeah, it's always a gamble. I bought this on the Real. Still the price on it, $18.50 retail. That obviously I did not pay that. But yeah, pretty awesome blazer, especially for summer because it's pretty thin. So you can just wear a t-shirt and this on top. The green is not too juicy on this, right? It's more washed, which is good, more subtle. And yeah, hopefully I'll fit in it. Let's check. Yeah, love it, but it is really tight on the shoulders. Now I'm wearing a double layer or triple layer long sleeve and a t-shirt. So that's at least my hope in summer when I'm just wearing a t-shirt underneath and maybe I'll drop a kilo, who knows, then this will fit, but it's still a bit tight. But I think for summer, this is such a great piece because it feels like you're wearing nothing. It's so thin. You're still wearing a blazer. Should have been a size 3. The fit is a bit oversized intended, which I don't like, as with the newer pieces. So I prefer the older, slimmer silhouettes. So I thought sizing down makes sense, but to be honest, I'm not sure. Might have to let this one go. I don't have the cash to keep pieces that I don't wear. But yeah, I think still for summer, this is such a good piece. Next up, one of my all-time grails. This is the Donegal Tweed Tent Dickens. So the Dickens blazer is basically the other version. So you have Ollie with the pick lapels and the Dickens has more like straight lapels. And this piece, believe it or not, is from 2015. And when I just told you that Greg is inconsistent with sizing, this fits me perfectly and it's a size 1. So I can finally tell you that I am a size 1 model, which is awesome. No, pretty inconsistent. That's why I sometimes buy a size 2 and it's too small, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Donegal Tweed, crazy good fabric. and it has vintage military tent at the bottom. So it's basically always a line going with a different material. And the details on this is beautiful. So you have lots of tent detailing here. Again, the same silver buttons. My favorite detail probably is just beautiful. Also, the tweed is pretty stretchy, which is good because obviously I'm not a size 1. But lengthwise also this fits pretty well. It's super comfortable. And that's what I love about GRAILS blazers. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a blazer. It feels like you're wearing a jumper because always like the drop shoulders and it's pretty flexible in terms of fabrics and stuff. Most of the stuff anyway. So always pretty comfortable. But yeah, this is one of my all-time GRAILS. I'm excited to have this in my collection. So yeah, let me throw this on for you. So this is what it looks like when worn. As I said, fits me really great, size 1. But it's also because the fabric is so stretchy. Gives me room to maneuver and just love the tan fabric. Detailing obviously has pockets. And when I saw the pics online, I bought this from a friend and I saw the pics that he sent me and the green looked a bit too juicy, right? Then the contrast would be too high, but I was really happy when I received it that it was kind of washed. So it's still obviously not the most muted piece. It's a bit out there, but it's not too much in your face, I would say. Grail piece. Now, next up. Oh, it feels like a long video. I'm out of breath already. So next up, we have a pretty rare piece. I mean, just the handwriting on this, you can tell it's old. Not sure what the tag is here. So date tag says 2012, right? 11 years old. And it's called the Striped Single Toggle Coat Shorter, made from vintage army blankets. This is such a crazy piece. I love this so much. So it is made from vintage army blankets, and the details, I don't even know where to start. Maybe let's start here on the neck. Right, the fabric alone is so crazy. Details all over. Then this sleeve here basically has a different fabric. It's really difficult to show all this in this small frame. But yeah, lovely peaked lapel. One is hanging down, which I love. The other one is cut off. Yeah, so the only thing I don't really like or understand is this toggle thing. Never been a big fan of this toggle thing. And then especially in this like weird brown wood, which is would not have been my first choice. But other than that, I'm happy with it. Has those Carolina blue stripes. I could have lived without them, to be honest, but the rest of the coat is just so amazing that, yeah, I don't mind. It is truly a unique piece. I bought it on GRAILS and the seller said it was a one of one. Who really knows? I don't really care, to be honest, but it's 11 years old, so which is pretty amazing. You know, those older things are getting A, more difficult to find, B, more expensive. So I am pretty happy that I have bought this one. It is a size 2, fits me perfectly. So yeah, you have probably seen this in my last video as well. I'm living in this basically these days because it's quite warm as well and it's still relatively cold outside, at least until yesterday. Just love this. Also love the length. And it has pretty long sleeves, right? I usually fold them over once, but the sleeves are pretty long. And this is what I meant with the lapels, right? So this one is cut off and this one is just dangling here. So comfy and warm. And the last piece that I wanted to show you today is in fact a women's blazer. I don't care. The only difference is that the buttons are on the other side, right on the left-hand side. But other than that, it fits perfectly. What is it called, by the way? So it is from 2014, and it's called the Tweed Button Front Dick & Donegal Tweed. So the same material as the other blazer you saw. And the older pieces had a spare button which is such a cool detail, cool idea, and then has a tag that says spare. And yeah, this is a women's size 3 and fits me pretty well, I would say. Not too much details, but it has some distressing, obviously on the sleeve, as Greg always does, then the metal buttons, bit of distressing here on the neck as well. But other than that, relatively basic, I would say, but I love it. It's again a pretty relatively thin fabric, but it's stretchy and it feels super comfortable, and it's great to layer. I think all Greg pieces are so great to layer. Right, so as I said, women's size 3 fits like a men's size 3. The only way I can tell is from the buttons, but as I said, I don't really care. I usually roll up the sleeves, and hopefully you understand what I mean with how comfortable it is, like how easy it is to move my arms, and it just feels like a jumper, which is pretty dope. Yeah, this is what it looks like when everything is down. Pretty happy with this one. Love it, comfy. Love the Donegal tweed, such a cool fabric. Bit of distressing. Now we're done. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.